New Pokemon, wow. A Wiglett. A water Diglett. Wiglett. Why the heck wasn't this Wiglett? It's 3 Diglets with a wig! Oh, wait. Is it a wiggly Diglett because it's long and wiggly? That also works for the name. Either way, though, it's not a Diglett. Not even a regional variant. I actually really like how Game Freak has been getting a lot more into Pokemon ecology lately. Wiglett is a good example of convergent evolution alongside Diglett. I've talked about convergent evolution a couple of times before, as evolution of all sorts comes up all the time with Pokemon. Convergent evolution is when different, unrelated organisms evolve similar traits to fill a similar niche. Take the flying squirrel and the sugar glider, or the American mole and the marsupial mole. These are completely unrelated species, but they look so similar because they fulfill similar roles. And this is also why so many unrelated crustaceans keep evolving into crabs. You may not like it, but this is what peak survival performance looks like. So yeah, Wiglett is not a Diglett, it's just very similar to one. I wonder if it will stick to the trio evolution and be all like... So what is it based on? The Wigglers from Monster Hunter come to mind, given the name and the way they function, and so they probably have similar inspirations, like the Garden Eel. Oh yeah, just look at the way the Garden Eels pop their heads out and look around, and the way they move. That's just like Wiglett. Clearly, this is a part of Wiglett's inspiration at least, especially now considering that its page on Pokemon.com lists its Pokemon category as the Garden Eel Pokemon. Wow, direct. The site even states that they have a good sense of smell, hence the big sniffer, which is just like eels in general. They have kinda poor eyesight, but a great sense of smell. Just like moles, really. But most Pokemon are not based on just one thing, so maybe there's more. No, I think there's definitely more. Why? Well, because so far, every Paldean Pokemon has had something to do with Spain or Portugal, and garden eels live in the Indo-Pacific, which is pretty far from... Portugal was the first European country to colonize the area and play a big part in the region's history. Always back to colonization with you, isn't it? There are other species of garden eels, though, and they live in the Caribbean, which... Oh gosh dang it! You too, Spain! Though, unlike the lemurs from last time, they didn't bring them back home. So while garden eels are clearly playing a role in this design, I doubt it's the only animal involved, especially since garden eels tend to be covered in spots and stripes and decor, and Wiglett is solid white, like a big, long clam tongue. And also, garden eels live on the sea floor, whereas clams live on tidal beaches, just like Wiglett. Yeah, I'm absolutely saying it's part clam. It's weird, though. Hear me out. Razor clams live stinking everywhere, European beaches included. And just look at how long they can be, and that's not even including the tongue. Also, yes, I should specify, the tongue here is actually considered a foot that it can breathe through. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling it a tongue. Clams do this, makes them look like they lick their lips. You don't lick your lips with your foot, unless you do. Ew. And look at some of its relatives, like the Pacific razor clam. Long, white, and ends in a dark little pink blip. That description fits Wiglett perfectly. And who knows, it could totally have a little clamshell under the sand, which would make it pretty different from regular Diglett, who is most likely based on a mole, since we know they have feet. You couldn't exactly take a mole and a clammy eel and base a regional variant on the difference between the two. These would definitely have to be completely different Pokemon. All of these clams live their adult lives dug deep into tidal beaches, which is exactly where we see Wiglett. They keep their clammy bodies hidden and stick out their long, white wiggly bits to breathe and spit out watery sand. Though sometimes if the weather gets really bad, a lot of them will get unburied and you'll just see them in big piles, just clusters of them. So I wonder if its evolution will go that route instead of just another Dug trio, or Wig trio. Or maybe the trio evolution goes deeper into the ocean. Maybe it becomes like a cluster of tube worms. They are also long, white, and got pink tips. Or maybe something like Kezu from Monster Hunter. It's long, white, pink tipped. They live underground in caves, especially moist caves where there's plenty of water to sustain their moist bodies. That sounds so right. So what is Kezu based on? Oh, the Mongolian death worm. If Wiglett's shiny is red, that seals that deal. But no, back to the tube worms. They live on the ocean floor pretty much anywhere there's a fault line between tectonic plates because they love deep sea vents, though they too are mostly in the Pacific, which just makes me want to focus even more so on those clams. I mean, they are right there, all around the Iberian Peninsula, the Paldea region. You know why it's called the Paldea region? Well, there's a couple reasons, and one of them is Spain's national dish, paella. You know what's in paella? So many clams and mussels. So clearly they are very very important to the region, but there's of course more to the name Paldea than just that. And we have this video here going into all those details. Check it out, as well as Gnoggin.net, our merch store, which is the best way to support us, and the only way to get our new plush of Snugooey available now. So until next time, never stop using your noggin.